Atletico Madrid have agreed to terms for Diego Costa. What are the details of this deal?
Well, Atletico Madrid have said all along, and they've been quite open about this, that they wanted to sign Costa. They knew that Costa wanted to go there, and it was a question of whether or not they could reach an agreement with Chelsea. Although they haven't actually confirmed the full figures at the moment, we think it's in the region of 55 million euros plus an extra 10 in bonuses, which I actually think is quite a lot considering the position that Chelsea have put themselves in, the negotiating position, which was extremely weak once the manager had sent a text message to Diego Costa saying, I don't want you to be part of my plans next season, and once, of course, Costa had made that public.
Guys, what do we think? Does this move make Atletico Madrid a legit contender in La Liga, Paul?
Well, it most certainly helps them. I mean, if you look at his goal-scoring record in Spain and also for Chelsea, it's phenomenal. It's almost a 1-in-2 guy. I mean, you don't find strikers like this in world football now. You know, Sid's saying that it's a lot of money. Yes, Chelsea were in a weak position, but Atleti really do need that focal point up front. So I think Simeone knows him better than anybody. I think with him coming in, they'd have had a good chat with him and said, look, you've got to toe the line a little bit. Yes, I know the way that you play. You play on the edge, but it's what we need. So I think that's why, because Simeone is a smart guy. He's not going to go and buy a guy who he doesn't trust.
You can't join the team till January 1st because of the transfer ban. You think they can compete with Barcelona and Real Madrid?
No, I don't think they can, even if they sign Costa, but I still think it's a great signing. You know, if you look around world football, there are certain centre-forwards you don't want to play against as a defender, and he's absolutely right up there. I think the other thing we should remember as well, I know Sid's saying it seems a lot of money, but, you know, in the next 12 months, there could be a lot of movement at Atleti, you know, particularly with the manager maybe gone, Griezmann may be gone, so I think it's important that Atleti get the likes of a Costa, a guy that everybody knows and loves, who definitely is going to be there maybe in 12 months' time when there's a few changes.
I mean, it's a lot of money given Chelsea's weak bargaining position, as Sid rightly points out, but it's not a lot of money for the player and what he can bring to the table. And as much as it's more than they sold him to Chelsea for, I think Diego Costa is a much improved player. He's a better player than he was when he first left Atletico Madrid. So it makes perfect sense for Atleti in that regard. Does it put them on a level field with Barcelona and Real Madrid? Still no, but then we've been saying that consistently for the last 5 or 6 years, yet still somehow Atletico Madrid continue to punch above their weights, win league titles, get to Champions League finals.
And at least he'll be happy, right, guys?
Hard
to believe.
For how long?
Hard to believe it. Question is going to go to Sid Lowe.
Hey!
Hey, Sid!
All right, Sid. This is from our good buddy Srinjoy, who is always bringing us questions here. So Atleti are going to sign Costa outside the transfer window and while having a transfer ban. Shouldn't FIFA and CAS tighten these loopholes? What do you think?
No, not really. I mean, you know, I know that it jars a little bit, and I know that people look at this and say that it's not fair, but the bottom line is it's about the registration. The fact that a player becomes owned by a club, I don't think is necessarily problematic, because Costa will not be able to play until the transfer ban is cleared, until the next transfer window opens, and then they will register him. We've seen it before. It's not necessarily beneficial, and actually this is a big question mark with Costa, is how much of an impact can he have in the second half of the season? How fit can they get in between now and then? How integrated can they make him in the team? Now, Simeone thinks there's a good chance, not least because when he had his last really great season for Atletico Madrid, it was off the back of an injury that basically kept him out for the first half of the season. So Simeone is hoping for a repeat of that kind of second half success.
What are FIFA and CAS supposed to do about that?
I don't know. I guess that's the question.
I don't know what authority they have to act on that. I don't understand the question.
It does seem like there are a lot of loopholes in world soccer. The financial fair play, like all this stuff, nothing ever comes of.
Financial fair play is a European thing that they're still trying to figure out. But I mean, if you sign somebody outside the transfer window, they can't play until January 1st. That's
the ban is intact.
That's it.
That's not loopholey at all.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here. Same kind of topic. What do you think Atletico Madrid can achieve with Antoine Griezmann and Diego Costa up top? What's their ceiling here, Paul?
A lot.
Brilliant analysis. You can only get it here on
Simeone has been looking for that focal point through the middle, and he's dropped Griezmann into the 10 role. It'll be absolutely dynamite.
You think so, Stevie?
Dynamite.
A lot. Dynamite.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to win either La Liga or Champions League, but it'll maybe take them close. It'll certainly take them closer in La Liga. As far as Champions League, I'm not so sure. It depends on the draw.
Sid, what about you? Can you give me something more than a lot?
Yeah, I mean, let's take it on from what Steve was saying there, and I think there's an important distinction to make. Obviously, he comes halfway through this season. The assumption is that his impact in the league is quite likely to be relatively limited, although, of course, if they're in close contention, it can push them up in the second half of the season. The big thing is the Champions League, because, of course, in a way, the Champions League is split in two anyway. You know, you get through the group, and then the competition proper starts in the knockout phases, and that's where Atletico Madrid think that he can make a really, really big impact in the first season. Obviously, the second season is a different issue. And, you know, this is a side that has been in a quarter-final, a semi-final and two finals over the last 4 years. Now, if Costa is only adding a little bit to that, it's already enough, maybe, for them to believe that they've got a chance of trying to compete to win this.
That celebration you're hearing is coming from Diego Costa's house because he is on his way back to Atletico Madrid. Chelsea and Atleti have agreed a transfer for the Brazilian, or Spaniard, whatever you want to call him these days, Paul Mariner, finally.
I think everybody's relieved, to be honest. I think, look, the goals that he scored for Chelsea is fantastic, like a 1 in 2, I think he was. Great on the field, sometimes great, not so great on the field insofar as the red card waiting to happen. Mm-hmm. I think that, you know, with...
But Atleti know him. They know him better than anyone could argue.
And more important, Simeone knows him
yes.
really, really well. So he'll be laying it down. And it's going to be fascinating, his antics again in La Liga. I don't think he's going to change his way of playing. Look, the happy days that Chelsea had with him, they'll cherish. The fans will cherish, but they won't cherish the antics. You know, he sets off well during the season, and then he sort of comes up with all sorts of weird things. I don't want to be here. I do want to be here. He's tripping people up, fouling people, elbowing, you name it. Mm-hmm. I was a big fan of Diego Costa. When he first came to the Premier League, I thought I liked his antics. It was old school. Yes, he played on the edge, but he did the business. He scored goals.
Call it old school.
Yeah. Well, when the rules were not
missing out on something special.
Are the Premier League missing out on something special?
Yes, the Premier League and Chelsea miss out on something special.
No, I don't think so.
Could they have handled it a bit better?
Well, it depends. Look, well, you're alluding to the tweet. Was it a tweet? Mm-hmm. Was it a tweet? Was it about the pre-season? Was it about you're not in my plan? We'll never know that. I don't think we'll ever know that truly. I think what's important now is that Morata's in the building. Players are gelling at Chelsea. I don't think they're flowing just yet, but I think they will eventually get to that point that Conte wants them to get to. I think that this is, you know, wipe our hands, right? He's over in La Liga. Let him get on with his football and let's move on. I think, as I said, I think the fans will appreciate him, but I think they're ready to move on, and I'm sure the lads at the club are, because there's nothing worse than a player who's a disruptive influence in the dressing room.
All right, thanks so much, Paul Mariner. So Diego Costa on his way back to Atletico Madrid, and for all three parties, it seems like a win-win situation.
Everybody, welcome into the ESPN FC studios for FC Extra Time.
Socks out.
Socks up.
And the most important thing we'll do during this segment is show off our socks. Paul Mariner and I.
His is bigger than mine.
That is.
Sorry?
What?
Neither here nor there.
His moustache.
This is your chance, by the way, to get us your questions and ask the experts directly. I'm trying to soldier on here, guys.
Here we go. Here we go.
Soldier on.
Keep on.
Right, next question.
I have lost absolute control of the show.
What was the question? Big as well?
Nope.
Stevie Nicol is joining me because we are about to tackle some Premier League fixtures in Premier League Predictor. Stevie, West Ham hosting Spurs. Can Spurs bounce back after some more? They'll be happy they're away.
Exactly. Getting away from Wembley will be a real lift for them, to be honest. And West Ham, I mean, you just wonder where the next goal's coming from. I just don't see anything other than a Tottenham win.
All right, so you're going to go with Spurs, and
Yep.
so am I. West Ham know a thing or two about some new stadium woes, but I think Spurs will be happy they're away from home and get this one. Burnley, Huddersfield.
It's got draw written all over it. Burnley last season at home were just incredible.
Yes.
Hasn't started that way this year. Huddersfield, not too adventurous, don't give much away. This has got a draw written all over it.
I'm going to disagree with you and just go with Burnley at home, just because I have to. Just because I have to. Everton, what a time to be a toughie against Bournemouth.
I am going to go with Everton because they have to win. Bournemouth, away from home, have been diabolical. Everton haven't been particularly great since the start of the season either. The pressure is really on them. They need a result. I think they'll just squeak it. I think they'll get a win. I'm going to go for Everton.
They have to win. That doesn't really mean that they will win. So I'm going to go with a draw for this one, Stevie. Manchester City, Crystal Palace. Oh, this could be Crystal Palace's worst nightmare.
Is this the easiest one to pick or what?
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Boom.
Just put it there. I can't come up with any sort of excuse that Palace will win or even get anything out of this game. This to me is an absolute banker.
Could be another goal fest indeed. Yep. Southampton, Manchester United.
I'm going to go with Manchester United. Southampton, they just haven't been doing much this year. You know, they're not particularly great going forward. They're okay defensively. I just think Manchester United will be far too strong for them, and I can't see anything other than Manchester United taking this one.
I think Man United definitely will want to keep pace with Manchester City right there at the top of the table, so I would be remiss to not go with a Manchester United win. Watford now up against Swansea. Boy, do Watford need to bounce back. Stevie, can they do it away?
No, I don't think they can. Swansea will be buoyed by that draw last week away at Spurs. Watford absolutely annihilated by City. Got real problems at centre-back position. I just don't see anything other than Swansea getting 3 points.
I mean, in Watford's defence, there's only so much you can do against City, and I don't think they'll be able to do it even against Swansea at home. Leicester City, Liverpool, Stevie, the rematch again that's ousted your former team from the League Cup.
Well, I'm assuming it'll be the two first teams this time.
Yes.
As opposed to the reserves. I can't see a winner in this, I'll be honest. I can see both sides scoring. To me, it's got a draw written all over it. Liverpool, no question, will score goals. But they give too many away.
Some goals as well.
Leicester will sit tight and break, and that's just what Liverpool don't like. So I'm going to go for a draw.
Do you know what? I'm going to agree with you on this one and go for a draw as well. It's hard to choose one in these two. Stoke City, Chelsea.
Interesting to see how Chelsea bounce back from last weekend. Stoke, on the other hand, they're under a little bit of pressure. Mark Hughes' name's been bandied about maybe the next one to go. That means Stoke are going to have to attack. I think that'll suit Chelsea. I'm going to go with Chelsea for that very reason. They'll sit tight and they'll break on Stoke, and I think they'll win the game.
And I agree with you. Brighton, Newcastle.
I'm going to go for a draw just because both of these sides, they don't offer too much going forward. Certainly Newcastle away from home don't. And Brighton, well, they can't. They just don't have
they don't have it.
They don't have the capability. So for me, this is a draw.
Do you know what? I'm going to go with a Newcastle win on the road, Stevie. We'll see. A bit adventurous. Arsenal up against West Brom. More positive things from Arsenal after last weekend's performance. Will it continue?
Yes, it will. For me, this is the type of game that Arsenal always seem to win.
Yeah.
A bit of a nothing game. Not too many people interested in it unless you're an Arsenal or a West Brom fan. Arsenal's going to win it because you know they will.
Simple enough.
Aye.
And I'm going to agree with you there, Stevie. All right. Thanks so much, Stevie Nicol. As always, track...
Draw then for the fourth round in all its glory. Spurs, West Ham, Bristol City, Crystal Palace. Swansea plays to Manchester United, Arsenal, Norwich, Chelsea, Everton, City, Wolverhampton, Leicester, Leeds United, Bournemouth, Middlesbrough. What jumps off the page at you, Stevie?
Nothing. Not a sausage.
Chelsea, Everton.
Well, because but even Chelsea, Everton is probably going to be two reserve teams. It's hard to get. It's hard to get into this tournament, considering the teams that the so-called bigger boys are putting out.
I think the London Derby is going to have some interest.
Spurs, West Ham, you fancy
I think so. Yeah, West Ham needs to get on a run here. Tottenham not faring too well at home. Should be interesting.
Bernie?
Chelsea, Everton. At the moment.
Thank you very much.